The symbol of the bat for Spanish and keyboard lore, as I mentioned before, is a symbol of good omens. It is said that anyone ever to cross paths with the bat was in line to gain, well, again, good health, good fortune, and good family unity. And of course, it became the iconic logo of Bacardi. Where, my friends, in our birthplace of Cuba, many people knew the rums not as Bacardi rum, but the rums of the bat, el ron del murciélago. Now, my friends, to get to know our rooms, or the room of the bat, as I mentioned before, a little bit better, we're gonna go ahead and now make our way over to the back of the house. For Familia, in a 24 to 48 hour basis, our distillery can produce anywhere from 132 to upwards of 160,000 liters of rum. That's of course what we're known as the world's largest premium rum distillery. Now, in this area, the first building we're going to notice here to our left-hand side would be the iconic Jose Al building, or also known as the blending facility, also known as well as the Bacardi laboratories, my friends. In simple forms, this building right here to the left-hand side is where the magic happens, where we go ahead and produce our rums. As we go ahead and move forward, Familia, I want to go ahead and make sure you go ahead and notice here to the right-hand side. We're going to be noticing where we go ahead and age Bacardi rums. How many we rotate them? So it's going to be depending on the style of rum, how many times we go ahead and age them. So it's going to be typically for around 10 years. So Familia, the barrels that we have right over here are American white oak. Before they arrive over here to Casa Bacardi and begin to give out rums those sweet aromas that we're now noticing, the barrels are going to be used by bourbon and whiskey distilleries like Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, and even Angel's Envy as well, for an average of 3 to 4 years. Where now the barrels are arriving here to Puerto Rico with a lot more maturity and also a lot more flavors to begin importing into our rums. Now, the barrels that we just noticed right here passing through are not don't have any Bacardi rum inside. Those barrels have already completed the aging journey for our rums. Now, the aging journey is going to take place for 1 year at a maximum of an average of 12 years. Now, there are certain expressions of Bacardi rum, certain versions of our rums that can easily go ahead and age for 14 or even a standard of 16 years as well. And Familia, as I said before, the warehouse that we just passed doesn't have any barrels with rum, but we're now moving over to the production line of aging. So here towards our left-hand side, we're going to be noticing an actual Bacardi aging facility or aging warehouse as well. The one we're going to see right here is Warehouse 3A towards our left-hand side. Tennessee. Alright, Familia, so as I said before, the actual warehouse that we have right here is going to be Warehouse 3A. It's going to be one of 16 aging warehouses located within Casa Bacardi, where, as I said before, the rums are going to be aging for 1 year all the way up to 12, or in some cases 14 or 16 years as well. We're going to be applying 2 aging techniques for that aging process to actually happen the best way possible. We're going to implement undisturbed aging, which refer to simply that the barrels are meant to be left untouched, unmoved, unopened through the entire aging journey. And then we're going to go ahead and actually use the weather of Puerto Rico, the climate of Puerto Rico, to implement tropical sun aging, where within the warehouses, my friends, our blenders are not controlling the temperature, the humidity, or the operation. All of it is being done currently, as we're speaking, by the weather of Puerto Rico, as it changes throughout the day and also as it changes throughout the seasons as well. Once the rums have completed the aging journey, they're going to be emptied right here in this building to the right hand side, and then the rums are going to be stored here in the holding tank stores on right hand side as well. As I said before, Familia is going to be an average of 132 to upwards of 160,000 liters of rum produced, and we're going to go ahead and do that, well, every single day, Familia. Currently, there's not going to be any movement of the barrels, because right now we're simply waiting for the barrels, or better yet, the rums inside of the barrels to properly age. Now, my friends, quick little fun fact: when it comes to bottling Bacardi rum, that doesn't happen immediately here in Puerto Rico. Upon completion, the barrel, or better yet, the rums are going to be transported by boat over to Jacksonville, Florida, where in a bottling facility located at Jacksonville, Florida, the rums are tested, diluted, meaning that we're going to bring the alcohol content down to our standard 40% of alcohol by volume, and finally have the rums bottled up. 40% of the rooms are coming back here to Puerto Rico for our enjoyment, but the biggest number, 60% of the rooms are going to be staying right there within the States. That has been Bacardi's biggest market since the 1900s, so of course it makes sense to keep the rooms right there when we go ahead and finish them. Of course, we're going to go ahead and factor in Hurricane Maria passing through Puerto Rico back in 2017. Hurricane Maria actually had a lot of damage right here in our facility. One of the biggest damages that we had was, of course, in our bottling facility that was completely destroyed by the hurricane itself. Familia, for those of you immediately to my right hand side, we're passing through the warehouse again. For anyone who wants to take any pictures or videos, now is the time, my friends. I'm gonna go ahead and move slowly. Now, as I said before, this one right over here is only one of 16 aging warehouses located within Casa Bacardi. Familia, for those of you wondering, we can easily hold anywhere from 30 to 32,000 barrels of rum at any given moment within the warehouses right here. Go ahead and combine all 16, and currently we're holding approximately 568,000 barrels of rum right now, familia, as for now, currently speaking. Again, it all depends on the rum. For those of you wondering how many rums or how many bottles of rum can we go ahead and acquire from the barrels, well, it all depends on the expression or the version of Bacardi rum that we're preparing. But it is on average around 110,000 barrels or better yet, liters of rum dedicated exclusively to Bacardi Superior, Bacardi Superior Carta Blanca, approximately another 50,000 for Bacardi Oro or Bacardi Gold, my friends. Okay, those are going to be our two main stars. So it's going to be the rums that are going to go ahead and produce the most, and also it takes a lot less for those rums to go ahead and age. Now, the holding tanks that we have here located to our right hand side is where we're going to go ahead and hold the already aged Bacardi rum. When we go ahead and have the rums right here, the team of blenders and master rum blenders or master rum experts are now going to go ahead and take the samples within the tanks and begin to blend the rums, to bring the rums together. Because, familia, to go ahead and make Bacardi rum possible, we're going to be working with not one but two different bases. In simple forms, two different styles of rums, okay? And in our rum tasting lounge, we have an actual sample of those two bases so we can better understand how we go ahead and handle our rum business here at Casa Bacardi, Puerto Rico. But again, where the magic happens is going to be here to the building on our right hand side, building Jose A. Gomez, named after a former global master blender, Joe Gomez. This is where we have our team of scientists developing our rums and also testing our ingredients, and also the team of blenders and master rum blenders crafting, actually making the rums happen right here within this building. Now, familia, we're going to go ahead and make our way back to the main route. As we go ahead and exit to the right hand side, we're going to have a small little view of our Cooper workshop, where we have just received a fresh batch of American white oak barrels. Familia, as I said before, the barrels are going to be used by bourbon and whiskey distilleries. So when they arrive, they still have a little bit of whiskey and bourbon flavor left within them. So we got to go ahead and clean them with steam and hot water, taking all that whiskey and bourbon flavor out of them and bringing back the natural flavors of white oak. We're also making sure that the barrels don't have any leakages, and we'll just simply go ahead and adjust the bands of the barrels so they don't go ahead and open by accident. And now I'm gonna go ahead and make a quick final stop right here, because when it comes to the actual distillery, well, we're actually seeing it right now, familia. To go ahead and make Bacardi rum possible, we're going to be using the set of 5 towers located here in the middle to produce what is known as our heavy neutral base of rums. And then towards your left hand side, we have a single tower to produce our heavy flavored base of rums. Those two bases are going to be the two styles of rums that I mentioned before that we're going to be using here at Casa Bacardi, Puerto Rico to make our rums possible. Moving forward, we have here a very fantastic view of this very beautiful Art Deco design building. This right here is La Catedral del Ron en buen español, or the Cathedral of Rum, familia. This building right here was opened just as Casa Bacardi was back in 1958. And it actually received the name of the Cathedral of Rum from our first elected governor, Luis Muñoz Marín, familia. Building right here is currently being used by the Bacardi laboratories, because here in this building, my friends, we go ahead and cultivate and preserve our most important ingredient, our yeast, known as la levadura Bacardi, or the Bacardi yeast. That is our most precious, most guarded asset, okay? It's located right here in the building behind 3 security doors in the 4th floor. And of course, as I said before, it's our most important, most highly guarded ingredient or asset, okay? Outside, you can also notice the main man himself. Right there, we have our founder, Don Facundo Bacardi Mazo. Many people think that Facundo was born and raised in Cuba, but my friends, he's actually from Barcelona. Sitges, Barcelona to be more exact. Facundo and two older brothers moved to Cuba when Facundo was only 15 years old, where upon their arrival over to Cuba, they become merchants, and Facundo, little by little, throughout the years, became highly interested in the distillation process of rums, or the production of rums in general. Here we have a little piece of Puerto Rican history, the iconic train of the South, el Tren del Sur de Puerto Rico, transported sugarcane molasses all across the south side of the island. Now, it's very important to mention sugarcane molasses because that is our second most important ingredient. It is a byproduct that we can get from the sugarcane plant, located here to the right hand side, my friends, currently being sourced from the Dominican Republic and Guatemala mainly. 2.5 million gallons of sugarcane molasses are going to be needed for just a week's production of Bacardi rum, and we're going to combine the sugarcane molasses with water, bringing right there our three main ingredients. Water, levadura, or the yeast, and sugarcane molasses all combined right here in this light brown tanks are what we're going to need to kickstart the process of making our rums possible. Now, my friends, let's go ahead and get to know rums a little bit better as we go ahead and finally make our way over here to the visitor center of Casa Bacardi. My friends, this is going to be your final stop during the trolley ride, but just the beginning of our adventure. So let's go ahead and carefully begin onboarding through the right-hand side, okay? Also, let's go ahead and make sure we have our personal items on us at all time, as the trolley will be used for another upcoming cycle of tours. Amelia, you may begin onboarding again through the right-hand side very carefully. Let's go ahead and join all together by the mural located outside of the building. And let's officially get down to some rum tasting business. Once again, final stop right here. Let's go ahead and gather all together by the mural. And let's go ahead and continue.
So friends, before we go ahead and make our way into our rum tasting lounge, if anyone needs to cash in a bathroom break.
¿Alguien necesita el baño?
No. We're going to go ahead and make our way over to our rum tasting lounge. As we do, we're going to be surrounded by this magnificent plant right here, la caña de azúcar or the sugarcane plant. I say very important because from the sugar found within the plant is where we go ahead and breathe life to all rums, not only Bacardi, but all rums we can find around the world come from the sugar that we can get or need to get from the plant, because without the sugar from the plant, my friends, what we're making would not be rum. I like to compare it like our distant cousin, tequila, my friends, which you only get from the agave plant. It's going to be the same case for rums. We can only get from this plant right over here. Now, as I said before, here in Casa Bacardi, we're not using sugarcane from the island of Puerto Rico. Sadly, the sugarcane industry within Puerto Rico all kind of died down during the 1950s, and it is not what it used to be. Currently, our main source for the sugarcane, or the molasses better yet, is going to be the Dominican Republic and Guatemala. But we also factor in Nicaragua, El Salvador, Colombia, and good old Brazil as well. That's it, now from Puerto Rico, because we need 2.5 million gallons approximately for just a week's production of Bacardi rum. Sadly, Puerto Rico cannot keep up with that high demand. Second fun fact, that the sugarcane that we have here is not from Puerto Rico. It's actually a blackstrap sugarcane from the Dominican Republic. Again, we're using mainly the sugarcane from the Dominican Republic, so we gotta go ahead and show some respect to where we go ahead and source our main ingredient. Okay? Amelia, follow me over this way so we can get to our room. Yeah, you can take it aside. Welcome, welcome, good morning. Leave no space in between, okay? Just go all the way down, please.
I'm sorry, that's gonna be
Good morning, friends. Welcome, welcome.
Okay.
morning. Go all the way down, okay? Hasta el final, por favor. Yeah, we also have one right here in the room. Okay, my friends, take your seats. Let's go ahead and go all the way down, okay? Let's go ahead and take a seat, por favor. Hasta el final, caballero, por favor, no pegáis. Sí, tipo de familia, hasta el final, creo que me falta todavía personas que no me puedan saber cómo.
I don't. I mean, they're different, like. No. I didn't even notice.
Lo dejas así por si acaso. Es que tú puedes. Supone que me quedan 5 así. ¿Cómo que me Let's go ahead and begin.
This one is so happy. Drink all day long.
So, good morning. How are we doing this morning? How are we feeling? Yeah? Good. I like the excitement. Also, quick shout out to you, my friends. You decided that 10:52 a.m. was the perfect time to begin enjoying some rums. Has to be 5 rums somewhere, am I right? Okay, you're here on vacation, or I do expect you're here on vacation. So, welcome to life in Puerto Rico, okay? Now, welcome once again to your rum tasting experience. Now that I have you face to face, a more formal welcome and good morning to you all. My name once again is Arnaldo. You may also call me Arnold as well. It's easier. And what we're here is simple, familia. We're here to get to know Bacardi rum with not one, not two, but 5 of our very best rums that are gonna range from sipping rums all the way down to premium, mixing rums, all the way up to premium sipping rums as well. We're gonna go ahead and get to know Bacardi a little bit better. We're surrounded by a lot of pictures over here that depict the history from our birthplace of Santiago de Cuba, like the pictures right here to our right hand side, all the way to our beginning here in Puerto Rico, okay? Now, who's over here enjoying a rum tasting experience like this one right here for their very first time? Okay, so most of us are like that. Okay, beautiful. So a couple of things. Let me go ahead and see if I have a glass with me. I don't. Go ahead and steal one of these right over here.
Sure.
Now, since we're gonna be here enjoying our rums, we gotta go ahead and do that the correct way, okay? Number one, when we go ahead and hold the glass, let's go ahead and avoid holding the glass like so or like this. Why? Well, because our body heat will be interfering, affecting the rum that we have in our glasses. That's why we always go ahead and hold it by the neck, by the stem, or by the base right over here. Actually makes it, as you can see, a lot easier to swirl the glass so we can go ahead and smell it. That's gonna be part number 2, smelling the rums. Amelia, these are not wines. Most of the rums we're trying this morning have a standard 40% of alcohol by volume, so they start at 80 proof, okay? So let's go ahead and avoid at all costs sticking our nose inside of the glass, okay? How do we go ahead and properly smell glass then? Well, we keep the glass close to our nose, but far enough where the alcohol fumes can really give us a nasty kick on the nose, okay? Also, if you want, you can go ahead and do the 4 points. Imagine your glass is a clock. You got 12 on top, 6, 3, and 9. 12, tilt the glass slightly. Begin on top, 6, 3, and 9. Super easy and super simple, okay? Now, part number 3, the tasting. Do not rush through them. They're not shots, okay? You're here in Puerto Rico. We're in Grace Island time. There's no need to rush. We're going to be here for almost 45, 50 minutes, okay? What do I mean to that? Familia, relax a little bit, okay? There's no need to rush because when we rush, we miss out on the good stuff, okay? And rums, like this ones we're going to try out, offer a lot of things. And hey, maybe you don't fall in love with rums. That's okay. But maybe, at the end of the day, you become a little bit more interested in getting to know rums here in Puerto Rico or from outside as well. Or hey, you might be interested in enjoying other spirits, whiskey, tequila, mezcal, you name it, my friends, in this form and fashion, so you can get to know them a lot better. Okay, now we're gonna begin from left to right. Okay, so at the end we have a very beautiful chocolate that's gonna be left for the end, because we're gonna pair the chocolate with the rum we have right there. So I really hope you guys have a nice little meal, a nice little breakfast in the morning, because that is not gonna be your meal. It's gonna be a little nice token at the end right there to pair with the last rum. Okay, now let's go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and waste one more time. Okay, I started off by dividing the table on two sides. We're not gonna do a little drinking competition. That's why, of course, I put them on the table, because these are our founding fathers. This is the rums that allow us to get where we are today. First rum in the family, Bacardi Superior Carta Blanca, the world's first light body rum, as we can see right over here, which allowed the Bacardi company to really get to where we are today. Followed by in 1890 with Bacardi Oro or Bacardi Gold right over here. Now for a lot of us, we go ahead and talk about rums and Bacardi and say, hey, Bacardi only makes light and dark rums. No, my friends, that would be oversimplifying what we do. The two styles of rums we prepare over here in our company are mixing rums, the ones we have right here in front of us, the first rum we're gonna try out, and sipping rums, like the ones we have here that we're gonna also get to know as we go ahead and move down our experience, okay? So, first rum of the morning, again, beginning from left to right, it's gonna be Bacardi Añejo 4 años. Añejo, my friends, age. So this Bacardi rum has been aged for 4 years, but that is not all. When you see a number outside of a bottle of Bacardi, the number is only representing the youngest ages of rums necessary to prepare the rum itself. So this rum, in actuality, is going to be aged for 4 years at a minimum, maximum of 6 years, making it the ultimate mixing rum. It's going to be, well, a little bit spicy in the beginning, still quite young for what it is. We can also notice that compared with the other rums we have in front of us, the first rum to the left is going to have a lighter color as well. Being aged for a lot less means it's going to gain a little bit less color from the barrel itself. And also know, hey, the rum is quite young compared to the other ones that we have here with us. As I said before, it's going to be quite spicy. You may get a little peppery sensation. Our taste buds are going to be like exploding a little bit. But as the rum relaxes, we're going to go ahead and get a light hint of sweet molasses. We might get some dry hints of vanilla and honey as well. Again, the molasses, not really well developed, 4 to 6 years. In the case of rums, it's not all that much, but perfect to make our piña colada. So we enjoyed a piña colada this morning. Well, who's thinking about enjoying a piña colada this morning here with us? That's the way to do it, my friends. Now, our piña colada over here in Casa is prepared with a 4-year rum that we have here. Those very intense, very sweet flavors of the coconut cream and the pineapple blend amazingly with the peppery sensation, spicy sensation of the 4 years right over here. You can also go ahead and make our flavored mojitos, talking about passion fruit mojito, guava mojito, tamarind as well, or keep it simple and go ahead and make yourself a Romeo, my friends. Bring it together the classic ingredient of ginger beer, some lime, and this 4-year rum right over here for a nice little extra Caribbean touch. Okay, now let's go ahead and get the glass lid of our first rum. Remember, beginning from left to right, my friends. Let's go ahead and begin smelling it, getting to know it. Let the rum get to know you as well. And with that, I say salud to you all. Salud, mi gente. While you drink, I enjoy my coffee over here. Vegantoso, vegantoso. Salud, salud. Salud, familia. Spicy, tangy, peppery. We can also feel that. Maybe some cinnamon, maybe some anise, maybe some fire ants crawling through our palate right over here as well.
So when you taste it, do you let it sit in your mouth? Do you swish it? Like what's
So for this one, we really sip on it lightly. Again, it's not really a sipping rum, it's a mixing rum. But we go ahead and move over to the second rum. I'll go ahead and show you a more in-depth technique to really get to know the rum a little bit better. Now, for this one, I want to go ahead and do 2 things. I'm going to wake you guys up, because I see a little bit of you guys dragging your feet over here. And also, I want you to go ahead and get to know what a mixing rum is all about. Where we get a little bit of flavor, we get a little bit of a good stuff right here, but it's not all there yet. We're missing something else. We're missing, well, some tropical juices, some mixers, some some good salt like that, so we can go ahead and make a proper cocktail. Because this rum is actually asking us, hey, I want to be a strawberry daiquiri. I want to be a coconut mojito. I want to be coquito if you're here during winter season as well. Okay. Now, 4 years is part of our mixing family, my friends. Our mixing family began, of course, with Superior, allowed for the company to produce a highly mixable rum, but also very neutral. And then we continue that, making a more classic rum like this one right here, okay? Now, how can you tell the difference between a mixing rum and a sipping rum? Well, you can go ahead and simply look at the age statement, for example, or you can look at the caps. Twist off right over here, like our Superior Oro in 4 years, mean that they're mixing rums, my friends. We do this, mixing rum. Simple as that. Move over to the other side, my friends. We see that rums have a different body, but more importantly, cork cap with a wooden finish, letting you know, hey, you're gonna go ahead and take it easy with me. We're not making piña coladas, we're not making mojito. Go ahead and, get to know me. Let me go ahead and be here for a little while so we truly have a nice relationship, okay? But before we go ahead and get to those rums, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about, let me go ahead and get the actual bottles. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about, Bacardi rum, but in a deeper level. Because to make all the rums we have here in front of us, we gotta go ahead and make not one, but 2 different styles of rums. As I mentioned before, they're classified in heavy and light. That is the actual classification of rums. We don't go ahead and classify rums in light and dark. We don't classify them in mixing and sipping. In its core, rums are either heavy or light. Heavy refers to heavy flavors, heavy aromas, typically the rums we can get here in the Caribbean. And then light rums refer to light, neutral. Not much aroma, not much flavor, more of a mixable body to allow us to do just that. So Facundo decided I'm gonna make the 2 of them, and I'm gonna go ahead and get aspects of both of them, the best aspects of both of them, and smash them together. Where then, upon completion, we decided to filter the rums once more to give it a light color, and introduce Bacardi Superior right over here. Now he decided to give it a slight color because the people, the public in the Caribbean and outside would see a spirit like this, classic body of rum, they would stay away from it. Rums back in the day were harsh, bitter, sour, very high proof, and just like whiskey, highly toxic as well. People working in the distillation process of rums could go blind by the high chemical fumes or even die as well, familia, okay? So Facundo noticed the market, he decided, I gotta change rums a little bit. It is the iconic spirit of the Caribbean. I wanna go ahead and make something that the Caribbean people, or maybe people of Cuba, can truly feel proud, okay? So, aguardiente, burning water, is gonna be our heavy flavor base, my friends. Our heavy aromatic base. If you've ever been to Colombia and tried their delicious, amazing aguardiente, this is not it, my friends. Aguardiente is a natural form of rum, a form of raw on H1. So for those of you who have ever tried, say, Everclear moonshine, our aguardiente is gonna be a little bit like that. Even though it's very aromatic, that aroma does not translate to the palate, and I can tell you that from experience. Other side, redistillate, well destilado, alcohol or rums distilled 5 times. We get rid of flavors altogether so we can build on more alcohol content. So, aguardiente, how much alcohol do we have here? 84 to 86%, 160 to upward to 170 proof, my friends. Again, not for making piña coladas right over here. Redistillate 5 times. An average of 94.75% of alcohol by volume. It stands at an average amount of 189.5 proof. Rubbing alcohol or pure hand sanitizer right over here, my friends. And you're actually enjoying that right there in front of you. And luckily for you, right from the distillation towers, my friends, fresh of our distillation process, we have just that. Little bit of aguardiente, little bit of redestilado, and today we're gonna go ahead and get to know Bacardi a little bit better. How? We're not gonna taste this. I can tell you from experience, you don't want any part of this. Trust me, okay? So we're simply gonna go ahead and get to know them from within our hands. I'm gonna pass around, splash a little bit of this here, spray a little bit of that here, and I want you to go ahead and smell your hands individually, so we really get to know the differences, okay? Now, let's go ahead and avoid 2 things. Number 1, get the hands very close to your noses because you'll feel the burn. It'll sting a lot, it'll bother you a lot, okay? Number 2, don't lick the hands, okay? Please don't lick the hands, okay? So again, I'm gonna pass around, spray them and add them to your hands. I need you to go ahead and smell them individually, and then once you smell them individually, rub your hands together and do a little pre-blending process from within your hands, and you can go ahead and notice the difference, okay? Let me go ahead and add a little bit here. wasn't lying. Nah, man.
Definitely get your nose.
I know. Smell them individually first. Damn. I'm adding a little bit of hand sanitizer with making sure you're
I can tell everybody I wash my hands with Bacardi rum. Huh?
Smell good. You start cleaning with this.
Sí, pero allá ustedes la diluyen y
Don't lick your hands.
Oh, I don't know.
aguardiente, la forma de ron,
Don't lick your
Dog be walking around with his hair, but anyway. I'll calm it down for him. Tastes pretty bad when you mix them together.
Do it.
Tastes pretty bad when you mix them together.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fun little tour.
Hey, yo, introducción. Solo acá, pues, caña, pero básicamente acá. Sí, es que abuelita es la forma natural de cómo te quiero la que sale de la ventilación para la pique de ella. La forma natural de it was really fun over here passing around because I got my shout out to my people from Colombia over here. Shout out to my compañero de Ecuador por aquí. It was amazing because we got to talk a little bit, and it's really great to know that, hey, rum is born in a lot of different parts. It has different names. Colombia right over here, aguardiente is a form of how they produce their rums. You go over to Brazil, it's gonna be cachaça. Over in the Caribbean, it's gonna be rums. Or hey, go to over Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas, gonna get the funky rums. A lot higher sugar content. They really go ahead and get your body very funky, as I like to call them. But they're their own form of rums. Rum has many forms. If it comes from the sugarcane plant or any form of the sugar we can get from the plant, familia, it is all rum, okay? But right here we have rums, or our rums, in its natural state. With this flip, this ball right over here, a lot of you notice it is hand sanitizer. Go ahead and take a little bit of the hand sanitizer right there. It's gonna be smelling very similar to this that we have right here. For those of you curious, yes, we did make el destilado in the first months of the COVID pandemic, so we can then sell that to make hand sanitizer and pure rubbing alcohol. Aguardiente has a lot of the good stuff, the sweetness, my friends, but it is not well developed. It is very spicy, it is very intense, very unrefined. That's why we need the aging to take place. Now the aging for most of the rums is gonna take place for 1 year, but all the rums are gonna be blended with different ages. 1 to 2 years for superior, 2 to 3 years for oro, 4 to 6 years, 4 years right over here. And now that we're gonna go ahead and enter the sipping side of Bacardi rums, our first rum is gonna be aged for a good 8 to 10 years, my friends. This is the Bacardi Reserva 8 años, or the Bacardi Reserve 8 years. Now for this rum right over here, we actually have the Bacardi family, where they taking the forefront with this rum right over here, because this rum, or the formula to get the rum made that we have today, actually came from a little recipe of the family. The family called this rum the family reserve, Bacardi 8 years, or La Familia Reserva de Bacardi 8 años, because it was the family's own personal rum. A very smooth, complex, and rich rum that really brings a nice little life in the Caribbean sensation, a relaxation iconic to Caribbean life right over here. It's gonna be smoky, but little by little we are gonna get now a lot more sense of the white oak, which is gonna develop into hints of vanilla. And in my case right here, personal experience, there's some light hints of banana as well, the sweetness of the banana. So, let's go ahead and get to know our 8 years right over here. Second
Is
round
that
to.
mixing rum or that has a cork? Is that a drink?
Interesting. It's gonna be a little 50-50. Now, even though we're now closing the gap when it comes to mixability, we're not really gonna go ahead and use this rum to make ourselves a mojito or a Cuba Libre. We can still go ahead and apply a little mixability to the rum itself. A rum aged so well as this one can allow us to make the classic old-fashioned, the Manhattans, or any spirit forward cocktail. In our case, when using it for the old-fashioned, we are going to turn it into a rum fashion. When using it to the Manhattan, same case, a rum Manhattan right over here for our enjoyment. Now, salud once again, my friends. Hope you enjoyed. It's going to be the Bacardi Reserva 8 años.
So I don't want to finish this one, you will?
10 years.
Yeah, I'm good.
There we go. Same formula, different aging. Yeah.
Better than that one.
8 to 10 years.
Sipping
Only
rum that I
the
would
one is double aged.
like to sit down and sip on.
Times.
Tastes a little like tequila has a bite. Tastes a little like that.
Smooth, I got that big burn.
No, definitely doesn't have that burn. I don't feel like I
No
can
longer do we have that little peppery beginning that we got, our spicy beginning that we got from 4 years. We are getting warmness because, hey, at the end of the day, it is still a rum. But that warmness really settles in little by little. Smokiness come through. We also get a little sense of the white oak as well.
Definitely
But
tastes
hey, a little bit of that little extra Latin heat right there in the fold as well. Yeah, a lot richer as well. Now, we already talked about our old fashions and our Manhattans. What else can we go ahead and use the rum for? Well, familia, let's go ahead and say we want to go ahead and enjoy the rum on the rocks. Well, that's a great way to go ahead and enjoy this style of rums. But let's go ahead and get rid of something. A regular water ice cubes. Why? Well, because that has dilution setting in after a while. We go ahead and get loose the good stuff, okay? A Caribbean-born rum, my friends, should be paired with a Caribbean-born flavor. No flavor is more iconic than the flavor of el coco. In this case, coconut water, my friends. Take some fresh coconut water, freeze it into some ice cubes, and then enjoy this rum right here on the rocks with coconut water ice cubes, okay? Hydrating, refreshing, is gonna help us combat that heat that we, of course, have to survive every single day right here in Puerto Rico. So it's a perfect way to really match your rums with another external flavors. So, in a sense, we are adding a little bit of a mixability to the rum itself, okay? Now, who over here enjoys some nicely made rum cakes? My friends, you can make some rum cakes with this rum. Who over here likes to prepare some flan as well, crème brûlée? Yeah? Try with this rum right over here. Now, who enjoys chicken wings with barbecue sauce right over here? There's a very magnificent place in Old San Juan, my friends, that makes barbecue sauce
In Old San Juan.
with this rum right over here. And before we finish our day over here at our rum tasting experience, I'll go ahead and supply you with a very wonderful list of restaurants, bars, like the one I mentioned right here, and also different areas you can truly enjoy your time here in Puerto Rico, okay? Now, little versus match right here, between the 4 years and the 8 years. Which one are we liking so far the most?
8 years.
8 years? We like the richness, we like the smoothness. So let's go ahead and see what happens when the blenders take their little rum right here and begin to experiment with it a little bit, because this 8 formula is wonderful because for us, we have a rum that's really mixable. We can really do a lot of stuff with this rum right here. For the blenders, that means that we can go ahead and experiment with the rum. We're now our third rum, which by the way is going to be the one sitting on the table by itself. Another one directly across the other one. Yes, that one right there by itself. Yes. Third one's gonna be, well, it begins as almost the same formula of the 8 years, so 8 to 10, well, not the case, 8 to 11 years in this case right over here. And then when we go ahead and finish the rum, we're gonna go ahead and blend it carefully and finish it in a second barrel. A Sevillana orange wine cask barrel from Andalusia, Spain. Now this rum right here is gonna go ahead and break one of our biggest rules. Now, most of the rums stay at a standard 40% of alcohol by volume. This one's gonna go ahead and make a jump to 45% of alcohol by volume. But in most cases, people actually find out that this rum is a lot more flavorful than the 8 years that we just tried out. It's gonna have a little bit of citrusy, smokiness, and also vanilla coming through that is gonna develop slowly into sort of marzipan. You've tried it before. Some almond candy right there. Sí, ese va a ser el tercero, familia, que está solito en la mesa. Sí. Es un doble acabado. Con vino de sevillana, de Andalucía. Now, for those of you who are big into bourbon, I found out that people who are big into bourbon really take a liking to this one, mostly than the regular 8 years right over here. It does have, of course, a lot more flavors to offer, even though it begins with a lot more alcohol. It begins with a more intense kick in the beginning. It settles down nicely little by little. And it's actually, again, more flavorful than the classic 8 years. Now, if you're big into cigars, this one right here can help you out with that, my friends. We're talking about some Montecristo, some Arturo Fuente, Romeo Julieta, some Coiba, my friends. So slight leaf cigars, really typical over here in the Caribbean, Latin, and Central America as well.
I think I like this one.
Very amazingly with this rum right over here. At the bar, for those of you who want to go ahead and continue enjoying this rum, we use it to prepare the Sevillana rum fashion. It's our own take in the classic rum fashion formula, of course using this rum right over here, okay? That's a little more intense in the beginning. I know, felt it the same way. Now, that little experimentation, where we go ahead and take the 8 years and then finish it in different barrels, has been happening, well, since very long ago. In 1995, we introduced the 8 years for the first time, known as the classic 8 year that we're trying now, but as the Bacardi Baccarat. It was a bottle that back in the day would go for $400. Today, unopened, it's gonna go for $4,000, my friends. Now, no, this is not the price of this one right over here. This one's only $35, okay? But we like to continue to experiment. So last year, if you go through the whole wines, you're gonna be seeing this rum in a rye cast finish, okay? Rye cast barrel finish for the 8 year formula. And this year, well, we have the Sevillana to go ahead and help us out to really introduce a new form, a new take in a classic 8 year formula that we just enjoyed, okay? Now, let's talk about some Bacardi history, my friends. Let's go ahead and talk about our first distillery and the beginning of the bath as well, okay? Now, for our beginning, we have this first distillery right over here. This is Calle Matadero, Santiago de Cuba. A couple of fun facts. Number one, the building was not acquired by our founder, but by the wife, Doña Amalia Lucia Victoria Moreau, the one who we have to thank for not only the distillery, but also the logo of the bath being added into the bottles of Bacardi. By 1852, Facundo was on a nice roll, but everything, his money, his experimentation of rum came to a sudden stop because Cuba was struck by a massive earthquake, leaving Facundo all distraught, broken, and broke as well. Amalia, receiving some money from an inheritance, decided to put forward 3,500 pesos, Cuban pesos back in the day, familia, and acquired this first distillery. Little by little, the company began to supply more Bacardi rum right here, like this one. We noticed that, oh, we're filling up with barrels of sugarcane molasses, attracting a colony of fruit bats. Amalia discovers the colony of fruit bats and decides to implement that iconic logo in the bottles of Bacardi, and that's where we go ahead and land today. Sadly, familia, when it comes to the legacy of Bacardi in our birthplace of Cuba, that also came to a sudden stop by the 1940s and 50s as the government of Fidel Castro began to, well, seize the assets of the company and began to exile workers and family members of the company outside of Cuba. Finally, by 1956 approximately, he seizes all of the assets, freezes all the accounts of the company within Cuba, and tells them to pack the bags and get out of the island completely. By that time, luckily, we were already all around the place. This photo that we have right over here, for example, came from Bacardi's distillery in Mexico, familia. The first time the company opens a distillery outside of Cuba, it didn't happen in Puerto Rico or the United States. It happened in Ciudad de Mexico in 1931. By 1936 is when we finally see the company making their way here to Puerto Rico in the area of Old San Juan, where today the building known as the Ochoa Building or the Ochoa Cafe was the first aging and blending facility the company owned within our island. When we talk about central offices, we have two. It's gonna be Hamilton, Bermuda, which we opened in 1972, and Coral Gables, Florida, my friends. Where in the beginning was actually Miami, Florida, where the company actually supplied the city of Miami with that first initial building, which is now part of the city of Miami. You can see it right there by Biscayne Bay, if I'm not mistaken, right there, okay? Second time we went ahead and redesigned the company or the distillery. Happened in this photo right here in 1915, but this time Facundo specially retired from the company, and it's now the sons taking charge of the company, where the second son became the first master blender and decided to create this rum right here by taking the formulas of the father and really working from them and allowing us to get this new line of rums, okay? Now, between the classic 8 and the orange 8, which one do we like the most now? Orange. Orange? Orange?
Classic.
Classic? Okay, so we have that, as I like to say, the great id divide right over here. Now, my friends, I want you to keep that opinion right there in your minds, okay? Because now we're gonna go ahead and introduce my personal favorite. He's my little champion. He's my little baby, okay? My little heavyweight. Now, if you like smoky, if you like rich, if you like tropical rums, then this one's gonna be all that and a little bit more, okay? This one, familia, is gonna be the Bacardi Great Reserve 10 years. La Gran Reserva 10 años de Bacardi. Rums age a minimum of 10 years, maximum of 12 years, my friends. Truly a Caribbean-born rum right over here. La Gran Reserva. Gran Reserva 10 años.
I'd love to see some of the old bottles like the original. I'm sure they kept something for each of the
10-year reserve.
years. I'm sure they have something
Este es
somewhere.
un buen tequilita extrañejo. A la roca o lo voy a dar con técnica también en unos momentitos. So, for this one, I truly want to go ahead and make sure that you guys begin by smelling the rum lightly because it is going to offer a lot of nice aromas.
It's a pretty big one. This is one right here.
Yes. So,
Let's cheer to this one.
10 years right over here, my friends. We're going to go ahead and begin to smell it. We're going to go ahead and get a nice little sense of sweet vanilla and smokiness as well coming through. We're going to go ahead and get more of the oakiness of the white oak barrel right there as well. It is going to go ahead and bring a little bit more of the spices back into the full, but that quickly evaporates to give us a nice, very tropical rum. For on the palate, we might get some stone fruit profiles, maybe some peaches, plums, pears as well. In my personal case right here, being born and raised in the Caribbean, it smells of tropical fruits. I'm getting some pineapple, I'm getting also some caramelized banana as well. And also dulce de caramelo, butterscotch, my friends. We're gonna go ahead and also notice that the rum's gonna linger a lot longer on the palate because the molasses is now fully developed. So a lot more presentable. So I see a lot of you nodding in approval, smiling in approval as well. Now, fun fact with this one, familia, over here, we don't call it a 10-year reserve. We actually refer to this one as El Papi, or the daddy of the family right over here. Okay? Now we notice why it really deserves the name. It really is El Papi of the family of our rums. Now, salud, papi. Almost forgot. So, what can we go ahead and enjoy this rum with? Well, definitely this rum is not for making piña coladas or stuff like that. Neatly or on the rocks. Or, again, personal opinion, some coffee. With this rum right here, match made in heaven. Now I'm talking about your coffee-based drinks. I'm talking about your espresso martinis. This rum right over here. I'm talking about your Irish coffees as well, familia. Or some simple coffee. Turn into some ice cubes so we can enjoy the rum on the rocks, some coffee-based ice cubes, okay? So, always think about that. When enjoying some rums on the rocks, think, can I make some flavored ice cubes with this? Can I pair with something else so we can enjoy it a lot better and try it out? And coffee with this rum, best way to really enjoy it, okay? Also,
To do that at Christmas.
instead of using the rum like we would do with the 8 years to make some pastries, we can use this rum to pair with some pastries. I'm talking about some nicely done tiramisu, creme brulee as well. Or, hey, you're here in Puerto Rico, you gotta have a tres leches before you go, okay? And with this rum at the end right there to pair it with, you're gonna remember my face for a very long time, okay? Oh, that we're gonna be so good. This one in particular, only so good.
Oh, we didn't get that one. We only sold here.
Go ahead. How many do you think? How much?
180.
Oh,
How much is it?
You're close, but a lot closer than you. 195. This is our special edition, our distillery reserve. Of course you can, yeah.
do you have like a history museum like of all the old bottles?
There's some rooms that have a couple of bottles, but most of them are going to be over at our main offices. So some of them are over in Hamilton, some of them are Coral Gables, some of them are actually kept by the family as well. The family is still very much and the company. They're the shareholders. Company right now is family owned, privately traded by family members as well. So they have a lot of stuff that they're safeguarding. But
That'd be interesting to see that.
we're gonna do that. The area that we're now reconstructing is gonna be part of aging warehouse number 17, and a new visitor center. We're now gonna have a more in-depth timeline of events. So in our beginning, Cuba, our transition, because it happened a lot of things. Before coming here, we got New York in 1901 approximately. Actually, before our central office in Miami, New York was our main headquarters. We actually, for a brief moment, decided to have Casa in Florida, Louisiana, Kentucky, or what was the other one? I always forget. But it almost didn't happen here in Puerto Rico. That's very interesting to know.
That is
Mexico, by the way, Familia is still producing Bacardi rum. It's not over in Ciudad de Mexico. Now it's over in Tultitlan, Mexico, my friends. Producing today around 13 to 14% of our rums. Then, if you want to go ahead and get to know our third and last distillery, it's going to be a long journey because our third Bacardi distillery is over in Karnataka, India. My friends, it was India's last distillery. For Bacardi, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and India to combine together to produce little rum of the bat, El Ron del Murciélago. Now, India produces only 1%, acquired back in 1999 by the company, our third last distillery that really allowed us to cement ourselves as an international rum brand. But, talking about brands, Familia, the brand portfolio of Bacardi does not only include Bacardi rum. We also have under our banner, Bad Banner, Doers, Aberfielding Whiskey, Angels Envy, Grey Goose Vodka, Everstar Vodka, Patron Tequila, Cazadores Tequila, Bombay Sapphire, Oxley London Dry Gin, Saint Germain, Martini and Rossi, and many, many more. I can continue going the rest of the time that we have left naming other brands, but it goes to show that we are huge. We continue to expand. Just last year, we acquired a mezcal brand, Ilegal Mezcal, from New York. You've been to try it before. I suggest you try it out. It's amazing. And little by little, Casa Bacardi is going to be the center to bring all those other brand homes as well. In our mixology classes, right here next door, we're beginning to see or to bring forward combinations of our rums with other brands as well, okay? But we're here for the rums. And I gotta go ahead and ask you, between the 2 8s, the 4, and now El Papi right over here, the 10 years, which one do we like the most?
I still like that.
The club is growing, we're growing in numbers, so
I still like this one.
the powers of Papi right over here really taking a hold of the public, okay? So,
Which one do you like the best?
also, before we continue, and Papi, the 10 years right over here, just like this one, the orange, and then our beautiful last rum are considered blenders reserve, master blenders reserve. Meaning that the people who produce the formulas and make the rums happen are the master blenders, the master rum expert, los maestros de rum, people who have almost 10 plus years of knowledge to how to properly blend the rum, because things get complicated when it comes to this rum right here. We gotta go ahead and know that we treat them nicely, okay? Now, are ready for the last rum of our morning? Oh yeah. It is still morning, wow. And you guys have already 5 rums in your system. Oh, about to have 5 rums in your system. So, you guys are an amazing way to begin, so thank you so much before we continue. Now, here in Puerto Rico, my friends, the legacy of Bacardi has been enjoyed or continued by us for 66 years. But combine our beginning in Cuba, Puerto Rico, and all around, it's been already 162 years of making rums happen, okay? And with that legacy and our enjoyment to celebrate tradition, my friends, we decided to have our own personal rum, own personal distillery exclusive rum. Familia found nowhere else except right here with us at our casa, okay? So, here we have it. La Casa Bacardi Reserva Especial. By the way, thank you for the sound effects as well, my friends. Really appreciate it. Our little baby, our distillery exclusive. It's going to be produced by us right here, only hand bottled by us right here as well, and only sold by us right here as well, familia. Solamente aquí.
Very spicy.
196. So, what do we have here? What are we going to enjoy? Well, familia, first of all, we're going to go ahead and enjoy a rum aged for 8 to 12 years. So, In simple forms, you're taking the 8-year formula and combining it together with aspects of the 10-year formula. So it's gonna go ahead and be smooth, also sweet, but also dry as well, because for 4 weeks, this one's gonna spend some time in an oloroso sherry wine cask barrel from Andalusia, Spain. That's the good luck right there. Yes, that is real wax, my man. Done by hand as well by people with this shirt right over here, familia. So, people you see with this shirt, my partner Anaí right over here, which by the way, tour guiding training right over here, familia. So, I'm gonna go ahead and, pass the torch right over here to wonderful Anaís. But in most cases, familia, Anaí, myself right over here, had our hand bubbling this rum that we're enjoying currently. It really goes to show how much we love it, how much we enjoy that it's born and raised here in Puerto Rico, and that is our pride and joy. Also, another great celebration point. The master blender in charge of making this rum, the only rum in her portfolio, is our first female Puerto Rican master blender in our entire legacy. So it goes to show that, hey, Mami is boss right over here in Casa, okay? Yes. So, 2 things. I want you to enjoy the rum by itself. Then I want you to match it with the rum. Pair it with the rum as well, okay? So the chocolate is gonna be after the rum. So rum, and chocolate combined, okay?
Rum, chocolate, and then rum and chocolate combined. So half, you might be half.
Qué bueno que lo disfrutaste, salud. Now.
That's good. That's good by itself.
No, the only thing it has is rum. So it's going to be maybe dark chocolate, 55% dark chocolate, and then the other half's going to be all rum. No nuts or anything like that.
That's good. That's good rum. That's my favorite.
You would light $195 bottle.
Acá es bien interesante ver que es bien generacional. O sea, hay muchas personas aquí que están acá con nosotros porque su abuelo, su papá, su tío trabajaron con nosotros y mantienen esa tradición. De hecho, he tenido personas que vienen de Cuba y me han enseñado invoices de tatarabuelos o abuelos que trabajaron con la compañía. Y, bueno, recibieron pagas de la compañía en nuestro equipo de Cuba, que es fantástico.
I did after.
Is it like strict? Is it pressed?
So in our case, we're going to be using sugarcane molasses. It's what you acquire after you have crushed the plant, already extracting the pure juices of it. It's going to be very thick, very oil-like, and that's where we're going to get. Most rum makers here in Puerto Rico, or at least the smaller ones, are going to be using what we know as guarapo, pure sugarcane juice or cane juice as well. But molasses is a lot cheaper to get, easier to go ahead and use for fermentation. In our case, it has the right ingredients for the yeast. The yeast basically is going to go ahead and be served like a nice buffet of water and sugarcane molasses. That's what we're using. In our case, once arrived, we're gonna go ahead and quickly blend it with water so we can loosen it up.
Okay, yeah. And does the color come from the barrels?
Yes. That's why the 4 years is a lot lighter, spends a lot less time in the barrel. And then the last one and the third one, the 2 ones that are double aged, are gonna have a slightly different color, different reddish colors to them. Now, the chocolate, very important to mention it. The chocolate, just like the rum, born and raised here in Puerto Rico. The chocolate is Montadero.
Which one was the third one? Which one was this one?
That one would be the classic meat. This one right over here, my friend.
I think that's the best one.
That's the one you like? Nice.
It goes down smooth. It's the smoothest one.
So I'll give you the name of the restaurant where they use the rum to make barbecue sauce. And it's amazing, try out. You're gonna like it. So I'm really excited for it. Now, the special reserve right over here has been infused within the chocolate. So the chocolate you just enjoy is a rum chocolate, familia. Of course, everything comes with chocolate over here. With rum over here, okay? Now,
definitely my favorite. I'm just gonna say.
No, it's also the dark chocolate. It's mainly dark chocolate, so it feels a little bit on the bitter side. That's good. It's good. So, before we go, for those of you interested in getting the bottle, or any bottle for that case, yes, my friends, We're only gonna be selling them here in our distillery. Now some of them we can find over at the airport as well. This one I would have to check for those of you who are interested. I do think it's gonna be at the duty-free store at the airport, but I wanna go ahead and double check. Yeah, it's gonna be higher, but the good thing is, for those of you who have no checked luggage, familia, we're gonna go ahead and have to pay for checked luggage if you wanna go ahead and take the bottles from the distillery. If you get to the airport and you have your bottles and carry on, they will be taken away from you, okay? The only way to avoid that is to either buy the bottles directly at the airport or pass them through checked luggage, okay? Now, for the special reserve, you can go ahead and get it in two ways. You can either get it already pre-bottled, like as you can see right here, or we can go ahead and teach you how to hand bottle your own special reserve with this right over here, which you can take with you, of course, today as we finish, okay? Before we go, little by little as you can, let's go ahead and set our air drops for everybody, so I can begin sending you the list, the restaurant list right here. If you need some help, let me know. But with that, familia, thank you so much for your time and your attention. Yes.
I don't have to go.
For margarita. For margarita. So yeah. Maybe this one. Because yeah, for margarita, actually, I'll either stick with the 8 years or the 4 years right here. You remember the bars? I'm gonna check because I used to work with